Hello guys, thanks for tuning in our Sleepy Conversations, and today we will be discussing what if dreams were actually our first language? Write us in the comments, where are you listening from, and let's get to it. Long ago, before words existed, people still dreamed. And in those dreams, they found something strange, a way to share meaning without sound. What if the first language humans ever spoke wasn't made of words, but of dreams? Before voices carried across valleys, before stories were carved into stone, perhaps people met in sleep. Perhaps the first conversations happened not by the fire, but behind closed eyes. So tonight, let's wander into that idea together. Before words, there were images. Picture this. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, our ancestors huddle in caves. The wind claws at the mountains outside. The fire sputters, smoke curling into the shadows. They do not yet have words like yesterday or tomorrow. But in the stillness of sleep, something happens. They dream. A lion prowling the edges of firelight, a river swelling and breaking its banks, a child walking among distant stars. In the morning, one hunter scratches a lion into the dirt with a piece of charcoal. Another, eyes wide, nods in recognition, for he too saw the lion in his dream. That moment, that silent exchange, may have been one of the first human conversations, not in words, not in sound, but in the mysterious unspoken language of dreams. The universal symbols. Even now, thousands of years later, dreams still speak in symbols we all seem to know. Falling, flying, teeth crumbling, running, but unable to move. These symbols appear across cultures, across time. No teacher is needed for them. They rise from a deeper place. Carl Jung called them archetypes, fragments of a collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared meaning. And perhaps these dream symbols are not simply echoes of psychology, but remnants of a forgotten language. Fire, in dreams, brings danger, change, transformation. Water brings cleansing, fear, or rebirth. Flight speaks of longing and freedom, the desire to leave the earth behind. Dreams were dictionaries before dictionaries existed, the first shared vocabulary of humankind. The shamans, the first translators. Across early cultures, certain people claimed to walk between the dream world and the waking. Shamans, seers, dream speakers. Their role was to translate. If a whole tribe dreamed of wolves, the shaman might say, "The herds will move soon, prepare the hunt." If a child dreamed of thunder, the shaman might whisper, "A storm is coming, the spirits are restless." To dream was not idle. It was a form of communication, a map, a warning. The shaman was the interpreter of this language, a bridge between the seen and the unseen. Science whispers. The same story. Modern science shows that nearly all animals dream. Cats twitch as they hunt in sleep. Birds close their eyes and rehearse their songs. Even lizards slip into dreamlike rhythms. But humans took dreaming further. In the human mind, dreams became more than scattered images. They began to form patterns, sequences, and narratives, a chain of visions that told a story, with a beginning, a struggle, and an end. During sleep, the same regions of the brain that shape memory, imagination, and language ignite with activity. Dreaming is not just a byproduct of rest, it is rehearsal. It is invention. It is story before story. Perhaps this was where language itself was born, in the dark theatre of the sleeping mind, where images learn to connect and become meaning. The mystery of shared dreams. Across history, there are accounts of people dreaming the same dream. A mother and child waking with the same vision. Two strangers far apart, who both recall the same strange landscape. Whole communities claiming to share a single dream of storms, floods, or fire. Science calls these coincidences, yet the pattern is too persistent to ignore. What if dreams are not entirely private? What if they are rivers flowing beneath the surface of the mind? Streams of images and symbols that sometimes carry one dreamer into the path of another. The idea is unsettling, but also beautiful, that behind closed eyes, there may be places that do not belong to one person at all, but to everyone. The Dream Village. Among the oldest myths are whispers of shared dreamlands, a village that can only be visited in sleep. Those who claim to have seen it describe the same things: a bridge of lanterns stretching into mist, a fountain where the water flows like memory, an endless hall of shelves where books write themselves as they are opened. Perhaps it is only imagination, or perhaps it is the memory of the first language, the place where humankind met before there were words, trading visions and symbols instead of sounds. The first language still with us. Spoken tongues grew. Thousands of words were born, but the dream language never disappeared. Its symbols continue to shape human thought. The serpent as danger, the bird as freedom, the sun as life itself. They echo in myths, fairy tales, and sacred stories. They appear in paintings, in poems, in films. They whisper through culture like threads woven from a language that predates history. Every night, when sleep returns, the same language is spoken again, not with voices, but with visions, not with grammar, but with symbols that the mind still understands. Legacy of the Dream Tongue. The Egyptians kept dream books, filled with lists of symbols to guide the living. The Greeks believed dreams were carried by spirits called oneiroi, messengers from the gods. Native traditions spoke of dreams as gateways, weaving charms to catch and protect them. Across civilizations, the dream tongue was treated with reverence. It was guidance. It was prophecy. Dreams as maps of survival. For early humans, dreams may not have been just stories. They may have been tools. A dream of predators could sharpen awareness the next day. A dream of rivers or storms might prepare a tribe for change in the seasons. Neuroscience suggests that dreams help the brain rehearse danger. The mind creates simulations, falling, being chased, facing the unknown, so that the body learns to react before the moment arrives. What looks like fantasy may once have been practice, a hidden classroom in the mind, teaching survival long before language or books existed. Part 10. The Dream Rituals. As societies grew, dreams became sacred events. The Egyptians recorded them in temple walls. Babylonians built rituals to honor them. The Greeks traveled to dream temples, where the sick would sleep in hopes of visions that revealed cures. Dreams were never dismissed as meaningless. They were maps, warnings, gifts from the divine, and through them, the language of dreams shaped religion, medicine, and myth. Part 11. The Architecture of Dreams. When we close our eyes, the mind becomes an architect. It builds landscapes out of memory and imagination, staircases that never end, rooms that fold into one another, cities both strange and familiar. Neuroscientists call it confabulation, the brain stitching fragments together. But it feels like more than random invention. It feels like the return to a shared library of symbols, a place where each sleeper wanders through different halls of the same structure. Part 12. Time in Dreams. Time bends strangely in dreams. A single night's sleep may feel like a lifetime, or hours may vanish in what seems a moment. Studies suggest that dream time is often compressed, yet the experience of living it feels real, as if the dream had its own clock, ticking according to rules outside of waking life. Could it be that dreams follow older rhythms? Not the rhythm of the body, but the rhythm of the mind itself. A reminder that time is not fixed, but fluid in the world of sleep. Part 13. The Collective Dream. What if humanity itself is still dreaming together? When entire cultures tell the same stories, of floods, of journeys to the underworld, of fire stolen from the heavens, perhaps they are not only myths. Perhaps they are fragments of a dream shared so long ago that we no longer remember where it began. In that sense, all of human culture may be the memory of a dream that once spoke to everyone, a dream that became story, and story that became history. Part 14. The Unfinished Language. Spoken words evolve and change, languages rise and vanish. But the dream language never disappears. Every night it waits. Every night it speaks. Perhaps humanity has not finished learning it. Perhaps the dream tongue is not only our first language, but also our last. A universal speech we return to at the end, when words fall silent and only visions remain. For as long as humans have dreamed, we have asked, can dreams see the future? In the Bible, Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dream of 7 fat cows and 7 lean cows, a warning of famine to come. In ancient China, emperors kept entire dream archives, believing visions could predict floods, wars, or the rise of dynasties. Even today, people speak of dreaming of accidents, births, or meetings before they happen. Science says dreams are made of memory, but memory itself is a kind of pattern recognition. Perhaps the brain, in sleep, notices signs we ignore when awake. A subtle cough that later becomes illness. A change in weather that later becomes a storm. Prophecy may not be magic. It may be the mind seeing ahead in its quietest hours. Dreams as healing dreams can wound, but they can also heal. Studies show that people who dream about trauma often recover faster, as if the mind uses dreams to replay pain until it softens. Ancient cultures believed the same. In the Greek temples of Asclepius, the sick would sleep on stone beds, hoping for a dream that brought cure. The vision of a spring, a bird, or a god was taken as medicine. Modern science agrees that during REM sleep, stress chemicals in the brain are reduced. We dream to process sorrow. We dream to cleanse fear. We dream to stitch the torn fabric of memory. Perhaps the dream is not only a story, but a silent physician that visits each night. Dreams as mirrors dreams often reflect us back to ourselves, not in the way a clear mirror does, but in distorted, shifting shapes. You run from a figure and realize it is your own shadow. You speak to someone you lost and hear words you never said. You walk through a house only to find every door opens into yourself. Psychologists call this self-integration, the dream showing pieces of who we are, even the parts we refuse to see when awake. To look into a dream is to look into a mirror, not of the face, but of the soul. The dream as a teacher. There are dreams that feel like lessons. They return again and again, repeating until something is learned. A mistake relived, a fear confronted, a puzzle solved. Indigenous cultures spoke of dream teachers, spirits or ancestors who instructed the dreamer in hunting, healing, or art. Some of the greatest inventions were born from dreams: the sewing machine, the structure of DNA, even famous melodies. The dream classroom has no walls, and the teachers do not always speak in words, but every night the lessons continue. Dreams and death. Many traditions see dreams as close cousins to death. Both are departures from the waking body. Both are journeys into the unknown. In ancient Greece, Hypnos, the god of sleep, was brother to Thanatos, the god of death. The Egyptians believed dreams allowed the soul to leave the body and walk in other realms. Some say the final dream, the last sleep, is simply one from which we do not return. Perhaps if dreams truly were our first language, then every night is a chance to remember. So when you close your eyes tonight, listen carefully. There, in the shifting shapes and whispers, you might find the language only you can understand. Thank you for being here. Sleep well.